Hi everyone, Samuel here. Welcome back to another video and
Emergency meeting!
yes, we have some actual GR4 news to share. This is official. I have the press release in my hand. I just had a call with Rico warning me about this press release that's going to be released right now to the world. And even though I did not plan to make a video today, I just have to talk about it because I know people are going to message me and ask me my opinion on this. Now, before we go through the entire press release, I want to say that as a GR ambassador for over 10 years, I know the people behind RICOH very well. I have deep personal relationships with them. I just want to make it clear that I am very much biased when it comes to the RICOH GR cameras and the company because I have this work relationship with them. As much as I am also a very passionate user of the camera and I love the GR, and I care so much about it, about the success of the GR. I want to see it continue forever. And so basically I might not be as harsh as you maybe want me to be because I know what it takes to make these cameras. I know what challenges they have, but I want to try to put myself in the shoes of the consumer, of the customer, as well as try to see the RICOH imaging corporate business side of it as well. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to show you the press release here while I'm talking about it so we can both look at it and go through it in detail. So first of all, currently under development, the RICOH GR IV, the latest model of the GR series of high-end digital. Sorry for the wind, but I just really don't like to film indoors. So what this means is the camera is under development. It's an official announcement that the camera is being developed. That doesn't mean it's finished. Although they shared a release time frame for it, and it's autumn 2025. So this year, after summer, it's going to be released. Most likely, you never know, things can always change. But I think that's good news because I almost expected it to be much later. Me personally, I don't really need a new GR, I'm okay with waiting, but I was also very curious and excited to see the next model, so I'm happy about it. Designed to be the ultimate snapshot camera in the history of the GR series. I mean, that makes sense, it's the newest model, so it's better be the best one. The GR4 is a totally new breed of camera, one which will satisfy every photographer's demands and expectations. Yeah, that sounds like marketing speech, but I was hinted by someone from RICOH that, yeah, internally it's basically a completely new camera. But on the outside though, and we will get into it. I'm sure you've already seen photos. Next we have some background information about RICOH Imaging as a company. I think we can skip that, but feel free to pause this video and read it. Okay, now it gets interesting because we have an overview of the new features and differences between the GR3 and the GR4. But before we go deep into the spec sheet, I want to see the camera body design first. And when they first showed me the first photo, which was this one, I first thought that this is just the GR3 or GR3X. But then they told me, no, this is the GR4. And I was like, did nothing change? I was maybe like 15% disappointed because I was kind of looking forward to seeing a new improved design because I was not sure what could be improved in terms of design. But at the same time, I was very relieved because I was scared that they would do something that I don't like. And I really like this current design. So looking at the front, it's basically the same camera. I don't see any differences. But when we look at the back side of the camera, a few things have changed. We have the plus-minus rocker switch of the GR1 and GR2. We have it back. I know a lot of people will be happy about that. I'm not sure if I really need it. It was very convenient on the GR1, this is the GR1, to use it for exposure compensation. Now we're also getting it on the GR3 camera body design, and it's going to be right above the playback button. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think it's going to add a lot of functionality, but I'm a little worried that it might be easy to accidentally press those buttons, especially when you have your camera in your pockets. I mean, it's right at the edge. Luckily, the playback button, I never accidentally pressed it, but because this rocker switch is sticking out a bit from the body, I hope it's not going to be a problem. But I am very excited about the possibility it can give us. Like, how cool would it be if it would be customizable? Let's say you can switch between two different snap focus distances. That was one of the features I wished for. Yeah, basically being able to switch between two different settings. That could be cool, but I'm a little worried, if I'm honest. The next big change, which is definitely a positive change, is they got rid of the back dial of this dial here that is super flimsy and, you know, buggy sometimes, and a lot of people reported that it stopped working. Now for me personally, I never use it. I don't need to use it because I shoot auto ISO and I use the adjustment lever here to use exposure compensation. Now with this new exposure compensation rocker on the right side, it will be interesting to see how these two switches or rockers are working together. It also looks like it's going to be more like a D-pad. You can see some lines, so maybe it's going to be easier to navigate the menu. I don't know if it's just the light, but it looks a little different on the top, but not really. Then there's a new SN mode on the top dial. I don't know what this stands for. There's no information in the press release, I think. My best guess would be that it stands for snap focus. I'm not quite sure why we need a dedicated mode for that. We will see what that stands for. I was also thinking maybe it stands for scenes. You know, the scenes mode where you can switch between underwater and toy camera and all these filters, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. So the next external difference that we can see, at least from the outside, is next to the movie button. We have some new text. It says INT and SD instead of the Wi-Fi symbol. That is probably referring to the internal storage and the SD card. Not quite sure why you would switch between the two, or if this is just a button to, I don't know what it stands for. Hopefully we get some more information in this press release. But also this means we still are going to have video features in the GR. I would be totally okay if they just get rid of all the video features, if that makes the camera a little more affordable or makes room for other innovations or space for something new. But we still have a video mode in the GR4. Hopefully it's at least a little bit improved. Okay, now let's follow the spec sheet. First, newly developed lens, 7 elements in 5 groups, 3 spherical lens elements, compared to the previous 6 elements and 4 groups with 2 spherical lens elements. This is compared to the RICOH GR3. The GR3X has a different lens, but that's very interesting because a new lens means hopefully also an improvement in image quality. And I know that the GR3X also has one more lens element compared to the GR3, and I find the GR3X to be a little better in terms of lens quality than the GR3. I think it's a very noticeable difference in terms of clarity, sharpness, 3D pop, or the overall look. I just like it a lot better than the GR3 lens. So maybe this is bringing the GR4 lens up to the GR3X standard. I don't know. It probably has to do with also the sensor alignment and sensor calibration, because we have a new sensor in here. It just says new image sensor, new image processing engine. I know already that it's going to be a 26 megapixel sensor, which is, you know, just slightly bigger than the previous 24 megapixels, which is totally fine for me. I know that I previously wished for a 40 megapixel sensor, but honestly, 24 is totally fine. Since I'm using the Nikon ZF also a lot, which is 24 megapixels, and I make prints, it's all fine. I want the image quality to be better overall, but I don't need more resolution, especially when you have very sharp lenses. Then 24 megapixels is more than enough. Now we don't get a lot of information about the sensor, what it can do, where it comes from, but I'm assuming here, and I'm pretty much sure that this will be the case, that we are going to have a brand new sensor here. Because if we look at the past years of new camera releases, they all have been using the same sensors all the time. And it just makes no sense for RICOH to put in an old sensor in a camera that has to last another 5 or 6 years. So yeah, keeping the product release cycle of the GR in mind, it just makes sense to have the latest and greatest camera sensor technology in a new camera if it has to hold up the next 5-6 years, you know, however long it's going to take for the next model to come out. So I'm really looking forward to more details on this sensor. Also image processing engine, I don't know what that means. It's a new engine, it's probably going to process faster, hopefully it's more efficient, energy efficient, maybe better noise reduction, I don't know. I just hope that the camera is going to be a bit snappier when it comes to recording data, because sometimes the GR3 and GR3X, I'm sure if you're a user, you have also encountered this problem sometimes. It happens rarely, but when it happens, it's not good. It's when a photo is not properly stored, and then you get this error message that the photo could not be stored. So I'm hoping this new image processing engine is going to help with that. Next we have an IBIS upgrade, 5-axis instead of 3-axis stabilization. I'm already super impressed with the GR3 and GR3X IBIS. I use it in low light all the time. 15th of a second, handheld, one-handed, no problem. I love the GR3 and GR3X for that. So now we are getting 5-axis, so I think 3-axis is this, right? And 5-axis is also this, I don't know. Yeah, if we are able to use even slower shutter speeds, then that's amazing. We have some new aspect ratio options. Instead of 3:2, we can also shoot 4:3, 16:9, 1:1, and previously it was only 3:2 and 1:1. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I really love 4:3, but I don't know if I would use it on a 24-ish megapixel sensor. It would be great if we could go back to the full 3:2 sensor readout. Ricoh, if you're listening, maybe if you haven't done that yet, maybe find a way to allow us to do that. That would be very cool. Because then I can see myself using 4:3 a lot if I can still get the full image later in post-production. Now, very interesting new feature is internal memory is up to 53 gigabytes. Previously it was only 2 gigabytes, and I'm glad that they came very close to the 64 gigabytes. I often use, all my SD cards are 64 gigabytes for my RICOHs, so technically I don't need SD cards anymore. Now, what's really interesting and made me kind of go, when I heard it, was they got rid of the SD card slot. We now have to use micro SD cards. Yeah, when I first heard that, I was like, no, why? No, why micro SD cards? Because my concern is buffer and write speed. I want that to be very fast. And I have a feeling with micro SD cards, maybe the writing speed is not as fast as a full-size SD card. But maybe that concern is not really justified because I'm using a micro SD card in my Nikon ZF as well, alongside a full SD card. But sometimes I just shoot on the micro SD card and I'm always surprised how it can keep up. It doesn't really feel that slower. But after some thinking, I did get an idea why they did that. And I'm not 100% sure if that is really the reason why. And that is that they can, of course, save a little bit of space by removing the SD card slot. And the SD card is right next to the battery slot. And when you look at the spec sheet, they don't say anything about battery life. It actually says battery life to be finalized, which might indicate that we are going to see a bigger battery in the GR4. Then I can understand why they would remove the SD card slot. I guess we just have to wait and see. A bigger battery is always welcome. But personally, I never had a big issue with the current battery. I often only use one. Even if I go out to take photos for a full day, I often don't even need to change batteries. So it also depends how you use the camera. Now, what we don't know is if we can shoot a backup onto the micro SD card and have the internal storage as our main storage. That would be amazing, because even though the GR3 and GR3X, they are mostly cameras for fun, for snapshot photography, for travel. You don't really use it to shoot jobs. But I do use my GR sometimes on assignments, and I'm always a little worried that my SD card might corrupt and I lose files. So it would be nice if we could have some redundancy by using the micro SD card as a backup. And so many important moments in my life have been documented with the GR cameras. So for me, they are more a main camera than a side camera. So if the GR can have a backup, for me that's definitely a plus. Okay, then lastly we have advanced communication functions compatible with a new application for smart devices. I guess we can expect some upgrades when it comes to the camera communicating with our smartphone, maybe transferring photos immediately, who knows. There's also going to be a new app, and I was told that that's going to be released very soon, and it's going to be available for all GR2 and upwards GR3 and GR3X users. It's called GR World, but there's not much information on that. So it seems like these are the major improvements or upgrades that are coming to the GR. I'm leaving it up to you now to decide if that is satisfactory to you or not. I'm going to assume that if something was not mentioned in this press release, then we are also not going to see it in the final model, which means no in-camera flash, no weather sealing. I know this is a big one for a lot of people, and I'm sure for some people this is even a deal breaker. I can understand to a degree, but I'm also not surprised, because I expected the GR4 to not have weather sealing, because I know a camera this tiny just can't be sealed without it getting very hot when you use it. The GR3 and GR3X already get a little bit hot sometimes. So just imagine if there's no way for the air to come out, the camera would just overheat immediately. So the only way they could do it is by making the camera bigger, which is a big no-no. I personally would not want to have a bigger GR, slightly bigger, 2 millimeters maybe. I can still be okay with that. But what's the point of making a camera bigger if then you can just get a bigger camera? And also they would have to completely redesign the lens, and then it wouldn't be this compact. It would be, you know, probably longer like this, and it would not be a pocketable camera anymore. Maybe technology one day reaches a point where we can have weather sealing in a small camera like this. Unfortunately, this is not the time yet. Again, I know I'm biased, but personally I've never had issues with rain. I use an umbrella when I shoot photos in the rain. I put my GRs in my pockets. Occasionally I see 1 or 2 dust spots when I shoot the sky, but it's really not a big issue for me. Speaking of air coming out of the body, let's talk about dust coming into the body. There seems to be a little bit of an improvement when it comes to dust removal. The GS3 and GS3X have this feature where also when you turn on the camera, it automatically does it, is where the sensor is going to be shaked really quickly for the dust to fall off, and then it's supposed to fall down onto a little tape or film strip. Something is on the bottom that where the dust can stick to. They're calling it DR2 in here, so it's the next generation. We have to see how effective this is. On the GS3 and GS3X, I occasionally see like 1 or 2 dust spots when I take photos of the sky, but other than that, I never really notice it. So it's not a huge issue for me, but it's good to see that they at least try to improve this dust removal feature. So we have a lot of numbers here, file formats. I mean, you can read it all here on the side. Okay, interesting. 4x3 is still going to be 23 megapixels. So I guess I could use 4x3 and not have that much of a quality loss compared to the GS3. Okay, movie mode specifications, file format, MPEG 4, blah, blah, blah. Okay, recorded pixel full HD, 60p. I don't know, who shoots video on the RICOH GR? I have shot a video on my channel. If you want to watch it, I'm going to link it here. I did one video with the GR, but it's not really, just use your phone then. Your phone is probably better. Hybrid autofocus, face matching and contrast detection. Sounds exactly like the GS3. We have to see how the real world improvement will be. Hopefully it's going to be a bit more snappy. We have a focus limiter to near side, far side off. Huh, is that new? So let me look for any changes. Exposure mode sounds the same. Metering sounds the same. Ah, interesting. So we have some new image control filters. So we have all the standard, vivid, monotone, soft monotone, hard monotone, high contrast black and white, negative film, positive film, and then there's cinema. Cinema yellow, cinema green. Okay, curious how this will look like. People love cinematic images, so maybe this could be a cool filter. Next page, dynamic range, noise reduction, horizon correction, okay, display, magnification, yeah, la 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 la. You can cut your movies. I don't know if this was possible previously, but I don't really care about it. Oh, we have some LCD monitor specs. 3-inch TFT color LCD. I'm not sure if this is a different resolution than the current LCD screen. I hope it's going to be a bit better, but can't really tell by the numbers. USB-C, blah, 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 hot shoe, yes, lens adapter pin available, okay. So sounds like all the accessories are going to be compatible with the GR4, which is definitely good news. You don't need to buy new accessories. Note, the exterior design sample of the GR4 currently under development will be showcased at GR Space in Tokyo, Beijing and Shanghai, beginning on Saturday, May 31st, 2025. So if you are in Tokyo, you can actually go and see the GR4 sample, design sample in person, or in Beijing or Shanghai. Okay, some information about the current production of the GR3. The production and shipment of the GR3 currently on the market are scheduled to be discontinued this July due to difficulty in procuring of parts and components. However, the production and marketing of the RICOH GR3X will be continued for the time being. So if you want to grab a 2019 GR3, now is your chance, but I guess you could also wait for the GR4. But interesting to hear that the GR3X is still going to be produced, which probably means that there won't be a GR4X, at least at launch date. Currently the GR3X is my most used and favorite GR, so this is a little bit disappointing. I guess they're going to come out with a 40mm GR4 eventually. I guess I have to wait for that because yeah, for me currently the 40mm equivalent GR is my most used camera. So just have to wait a little bit longer. And there you have it, actual GR4 news by RICOH Imaging themselves. No rumors started, no accidental rumors started by a video of mine where I said something that was misinterpreted. Man, I'm so curious to hear what you guys think about this. Let me know in the comment section what you think about it. Are you going to get one? Are you disappointed? Are you excited? I'm kind of surprised that they came out with all this information, because I was expecting RICOH to make a bigger deal out of this, because everyone was really waiting for it. And I don't know, I just expected maybe like a little teaser video or something cool where people get excited and start to speculate. But maybe it's better if all the information is out and people can process it and take their time, get all the tears out of them or start to save up. I guess we all at least know now that it is really coming. And it's coming out very soon. Stay tuned for all the videos I'm going to make. Obviously, I'm going to make videos about it when it comes out, and hopefully more interesting projects. Hopefully continuing something like the GR project. Come on, RICOH, send me out. Let's do this again. Okay, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.
I have nothing. Well, how this one? How this one?
Millions of people will all get drunk today. Wow, we will be a part of that. It's great.